We're here today for the open house. And are we passing it right? Andrew, you'll take it from here?
I think you're going to get the next slide and then I'm going to go.
Oh, okay, good.
All
Jill, perfect.
right. Thank you, Carolyn. And I'm so excited that you all are here to learn about the the Graduate School of Education and our Department of Education. Here you can see kind of our vision and our mission. I won't read it, but I this year for the school. And as part of what we're doing is we've created a strategic plan where we're really trying to address sort of what we're facing in terms of the federal climate for higher education, paired with some really exciting and innovative work that our faculty and students are doing. And so that includes things like we're building our alumni network and creating a web page to showcase that. We're also working on our everything being more transparent in terms of our degree pathways and our communication with our faculty and our students so that students have very close mentoring relationships with their advisors and with their emphases. We're working also on highlighting the community-facing work we do on our campus. We are the #1 school for our community-engaged and publicly facing work because our labs aren't like a chemistry lab, right? Our lab is the school or the community organization. So we get out into the community and we have great partnerships with several school districts and other community organizations and agencies. So we're highlighting that work. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see we'll post information about events and things that our students and faculty are doing. But all that's to say is we're creating and we have and we're building from a very you're distracting me here. Place on the school. It's obviously very beautiful. I think I was just at the trustees meeting and one of the draws to UCSB is location, location, location. It's like 75 degrees and sunny by the beach here at Santa Barbara. But more than that, we also have a very incredible community of people who are invested in education. And education is actually one of the biggest employers of our county. And so that and our hospitals and our community-based organizations, we're actually per capita, we have the most philanthropic and nonprofit organizations of anywhere, I think, at least west of the Mississippi, probably in the world. But we also have one of the highest poverty rates in the county, one of the highest number of unhoused students. Over 12% of our students are unhoused, and that's because of our high cost of living. So there are really big issues to grapple with here. At the same time, we get a lot of support. So we need this relationship between the university and the school, and we have support to do that. So I'm going to end there. I'm going to turn it over to the amazing education faculty to give you more details about the program, but I wanted to be here in my new GGSC t-shirt. And our slogan for the year, we ran a competition, and it is knowledge is power, community is strength. And so pretty soon we'll get everyone their t-shirt. They just came 2 days ago and I got mine, one of the first ones. So we hope that you come and can get a shirt, and welcome.
Thank you so much. And you weathered my Zoom storm, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, Interim Dean Sharkey. If we could go to the next slide, please, Carolyn. Well, thank you all for being here. We're excited that you want to learn more about our school. As Dean Sharkey outlined, it's a very interesting area, and we have a really large footprint in our community, working in schools and community organizations. Within the department, we have 3 areas of study, and on the next slide, which we'll get to soon, we'll unpack what our areas of study look like. We have 25 faculty members, and we have faculty members present today representing the range of stages in faculty career, from assistant professors to associate professors to full professors. We also have my roles. Technically, I'm a teaching professor. I don't do research. All I do is teach. And of course, I do a lot of administrative work as the department chair. And then we have our professors, our research professors, who are engaged in research and grant activity. And all of us do a great deal of service and teaching and involvement in our communities and on campus. Presently, we have, approximately 110 PhD and MA students in our doctoral program, studying in our 3 areas under these faculty members. And annually, we admit approximately 20 students per year. So this year we had about 20 students starting in their PhD or MA programs. In addition to the Department of Education, in the Gevirtz School, we also have our teacher education program, which is a 1-year program to get your elementary, your secondary, or your special education teaching credential, as well as a bilingual authorization. And then we also have our partner department in the Gevirtz School, the Department of Counseling, Clinical, and School Psychology. So we're part of a very interdisciplinary group of faculty that work across our specialties and work together so we can complement each other's work. And again, leverage our work to have a positive impact on our community. And like I said, we have a big footprint within our local community. If we could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So all of our faculty fall into our 3 major program areas. And of course, as you can imagine, in such an interdisciplinary department as ours, some of our faculty kind of straddle 2 areas, but everybody's got a home in one of these 3 major program areas. We've got the culture, language, and human development area. We've got the learning, teaching, and teacher education area. And we have the policy, program, evaluation, and research methods area. And as you can see, looking around this yellow text at the white text, you can see within the CLHD area, there's a focus on language literacy and social emotional development, community-based engagement and education, identity and agency, and multilingualism, among other topics. And then in the LTT area, which we call the latte area, we have STEM education, and Sarah Roberts and Danielle Harlow, who are present today, represent some of our STEM education faculty. We have special education, which is my area of expertise, and my background is in special ed in public schools. And we also have literacy education. And then we also have teacher education. And many of our faculty, while we advise doctoral students and teach in the doctoral program or the MA program, we also are involved in our teacher education program. And the teacher education program is a very interesting area for those involved in student or teacher learning as a place to do research with experienced teacher educators. And then lastly, we've got the PPRM area where we have education policy, K through 12 and higher education. And Carolyn is one of our education policy faculty. Then we have evaluation theory and practices. And then we have research methods and methodologies. And Ishao is one of our faculty who works in quantitative methodologies. I encourage you to visit our website and take a look at individual faculty interests that would align with some of these areas that we have outlined here. And really, my suggestion to you is investigate your passion, investigate the path that you want to follow, and what's really important to you. And then take a look at our faculty interests and see if any faculty have interests that intersect with you, and feel free to reach out to them. And if you're having issues reaching out to one faculty, you can feel free to reach out to myself as well. All right, thank you. To the next slide, which might be Carolyn. Or is it me still? Oh, I think it's Carolyn.
Hi. I just want to say one thing to add on to what Andrew said. The December 1 application deadline is only for the master's and PhD programs in education. So if you are looking to get your teacher credential through the UCSB TEP program, that is a separate application process and deadline. So just while we are in the same department and work collaboratively, the program application processes and deadlines are different. So not if you have questions about TEP, we can help direct you for sure. Similarly, the counseling and school CCSP is a separate department with their own application process and deadline. So want to avoid any confusion. Oh, did I stop? No, I am screen sharing. Here. Zoom got really fancy. Okay, so coursework, and again, this is all just a quick overview, and we encourage, if you're really interested in getting into the nitty-gritty of the courses and course requirements and offerings, the Graduate Student Handbook on our website lists everything in lots of detail, so it could get you really excited about the range of courses that we offer. And this is really just to give you an overview and help you, direct you to where you can learn yourself. So with our interdisciplinarity in our department, we have a lot to cover, and we want to make sure students have some sort of shared language and base. And so we have a few required, which we call core courses across each of the program areas. We have a graduate student seminar for first-year graduate students that I have the privilege of teaching this year, which is a little like guide to get to know grad school and also community building within the cohort. We have some research methods requirements to intro classes, and then really a host of other research methods offerings that you can and should supplement on top of the introductory courses. And then what we call advanced pathway courses, or where you can really dig in based on your program area to other topics with higher level graduate seminars, sort of more advanced thinking in your particular area. There are also lots of opportunities to take classes in other departments and even in other UC campuses. So there is some flexibility. We have some baseline requirements, and with your advisor, really, you can create the best program of study for your own interests. Okay, now let me move on to now another big part of what the work of a master's student and a doctoral student in our program is to complete these 5 milestones. So the MA students will do the first 2, and a doctoral student will continue through the dissertation. So usually in your first year, a research apprenticeship is an opportunity to really be exposed to research and participate in some form. It takes a lot of different forms based on the work you're interested in, the work that your advisor or other faculty are doing that you can incorporate into. And then usually around your second year, you carry out and complete a independent research project, which if you're in a master's program or earning your MA on your way to your PhD can be a master's thesis. So that's usually an independent original piece of empirical scholarship that you work closely with your advisor and the committee that you form. After that, you take what we call the qualifying exam, also known as a comprehensive exam, and it's really a review of, you do a lot of reading and then you write in response to questions about the reading lists that you've developed with your committee in order to prepare you to develop a dissertation proposal. So this is really how you become familiar with the core bodies of literature that you are in conversation with your dissertation. Then you develop and defend a dissertation proposal, the research that you're proposing to do, and last but not least, the dissertation that you carry out and complete and then defend. Can't see everyone, so So now I'm going to turn and talk a little bit about one of the 3 program areas. I represent the education policy side, and Yizhao is here, and he's on the research methods side. There are folks with expertise in K-12. The folks might be me. And then we have a growing expertise with 3 relatively new faculty members who are focused on higher education. So we ask questions about the context of education and how they're affected by policies and practices, and how policies and practices influence organizations, people, the educational experiences. On the research methods side, it's about using and advancing both quantitative and qualitative approaches to research, in particular as applied to educational data, and then really developing new approaches. So mostly quantitative folks in that area, and our colleague Tariq Azam, who's a program evaluation specialist, working in that area. So some of the courses in the advanced pathways under PPRM include a focus on education policy, and we have taught with K-12 focus and higher ed focus, work on organizational theories and educational leadership. My own work is on immigrant origin students, and so I teach a class on that. We have a new course that's on critical race theory. And then, excuse the funky formatting, on the other side, you see classes on evaluation procedures, advanced statistical. I'm not going to tell you what structural equation modeling is, but we have experts who do that. And then different statistical methods and program evaluation. Okay. These are the faculty. So like Andrew said, you can do it a lot of ways. You can think about what are my research interests and sort of filter and sort on our website based on those interests, based on the program area. You can just spend time, if you want, trying to identify faculty who are doing work that sounds interesting. So these are the program area faculty for PPRM. The top row are the research methods folks, and the bottom row are the sort of K-12 and higher ed policy folks. But there are people in other program areas who do work in that relates to education policy. Everyone uses methods. The difference between a methodologist, Karen Yizhao and Tariq, are really developing methods versus, I would say, the folks on the bottom use methods and use them in different ways. But I think that's what we got for PPRM. So I'm going to hand it to Danielle to take it from here for Latte. Oh, no.
Yep. No, I was just unmuting. So I'm Danielle Harlow, and I represent Latte. Also, Sarah, who's here, is in Latte, and we are. So Latte is the Learning, Teaching, and Teacher Education group, and we are the largest of all of the groups, I believe, right? And we have the best acronym, so at least the most pronounceable. And we focus on teaching and learning inside schools and outside of school. So not only in K through 12 classrooms, but also in museums and outdoor spaces, in informal education. This is pretty much anyone who focuses on any content area or any type of learning that children or teachers are doing. There are 4 advanced pathways within Latte. One is STEM education, and that's the one I'm focused on. I focus more on the science and engineering. Sarah's more focused on the math. And then we have other faculty who focus on also on science and some others in math. There's also literacy education and special education and teacher education. And so all of those fields intersect. And so there are graduate students and faculty who focus on math and special education together and how those intersect. And there are students who focus on STEM and literacy education. So while we talk about them like they are silos, there is actually quite a bit of fluidity between them. And most people that are focused on teacher education are also focused on a content area. So one of the other science education faculty is mostly focused on teacher education. And so we have there's one core course associated with Latte, which is teaching, learning, and teacher education. And there are lots of more advanced classes, but they are not listed here, but they are in these subject areas, in STEM education and literacy education, in curriculum development in general. Yeah. Anything to add, Sarah, since you're here?
No, I think that hits it. I just add that, like for my work, I'm definitely kind of situated within the teacher education and STEM education. So, and like I would say that Julie's work is too, that, so, and like Danielle teaches the pre-service students in the elementary ed, similar to the work that Julie and I do with the secondary ed students. So sometimes folks will be teaching students as part of the work that they do as well. And that is a nice way to get involved in supporting the work that faculty are doing if you're interested in that kind of pathway in your own trajectory as well.
And one more thing, we are not the teacher education department. This webinar is not about the teacher education program, but the fact that we have a teacher education program and it's small. It's considered a boutique program, so we don't have hundreds of students or thousands of students like many of the Cal State schools do. And so we're pretty nimble, and we can try innovative methods in the teacher education program, which allows the teacher education program here at UCSB to be a really nice like laboratory to understand best practices in teacher education. That's not possible at some of the schools that have larger teacher education programs. And so that's the
Right,
teacher
and-
education program is a really integral part of the Department of Education, even though this webinar is about the Department of Education.
Right. And the UCs are actually meant to be, this part of what differentiates the UCs from the CSUs is that they are meant to be a place to study teacher education. So it's a great place to come and think about studying teacher education if that's something you're interested in.
All right, and here are all of these faces are the folks that teach in the Latte program. Maybe all of these folks have also taught in the teacher education program, so it's training teachers to become teachers. Maybe not all. Yeah, and all focused on different areas. And I will now hand it to
Think it's me again,
Carolyn.
unless someone else wants to talk about CLAD. So these are the acronyms, and she's a little bit humble, but Danielle, in addition to being an excellent scholar of STEM education, is really great at making up acronyms. So CLAD and Latte are her brainchild, I believe. So the Cultural, Language, and Human Development program area, like we saw on that earlier slide, is about educational, physical, mental, and social emotional development. So you can think of folks who might have more background in psychology, developmental psychology, but that's not required. And also folks on the language acquisition side, focus on multicultural education and identity. So the core course for CLAD, and again, every student in the program takes each of the 3 core courses across the 3 program areas. So program evaluation, teaching and learning, and theories of human development. Everyone will take those. And then based on your program area or the program of study you design with your advisor, you take a certain number of advanced pathways courses. So these are the range of courses. And you might see that immigration and education, which is an advanced pathway course for PPRM, is also considered an advanced pathway, or was for CLAD. So there's a lot of overlap. And these are the folks I can get to who represent the program area faculty. And you'll see there are people who also appeared on the Latte. So Jason, Jinsuk, Amy, and Mian were all also listed in the Latte area. Quailing Malone does a lot of work inside classrooms and sort of different forms of learning and student learning. So people are doing work across all program areas. Danielle.
All right, so funding, that's probably a question that many people have. So our goal is to provide multi-year packages. That means that we are trying to create funding packages that provide funding for you for multiple years. So not just your first year, but your second, maybe more. For admitted students, we have 2 different types of funding that include fees and a stipend. Those are centrally administered fellowships, which are 5 years of funding, and departmental packages, which are 1 to 5 years of funding. So the centrally administered fellowships are fairly competitive, like 1 to 2 students each year will get one of those. The departmental packages are handled by us as a faculty, and so those we have, we're able to split those up in different ways, so we can have more control over how those are allocated. Funding, as many of you probably know, is tight right now, and so we're aiming to provide multiple multi-year packages for all admitted students, but there are also opportunities to work on campus through TA positions, through research positions, and other campus working opportunities. In addition, we have travel grants that support students to travel to conferences, and we have dissertation fellowships, and those are fellowships that are provided to students in their final year, and it covers the fees and tuition for the final year. And so those are the types of funding we have. One note is that when you apply for admission to UCSB, you will get your letter. If you apply for admission and you are admitted, you will get a letter from UCSB that gives you your admission status, says, hey, congratulations, you've been admitted, and it will not have your financial aid package or your funding package in that letter. So don't panic, because those letters come later. So don't look at your letter that says you've been admitted and think that you are not allocated funding. Everyone gets their initial admission letter without any information about funding prior to the letter about funding. All right.